I can't believe we are in our final week of term. We have learnt so much over the past couple of months on all of our YouTube videos. Now it's time to put all of that knowledge together for our final video. Myself and Mrs. Smith are going to help you write a letter to your new class teacher to tell them a little bit about yourselves in preparation for the autumn term. Now, we have written lots of letters in Year 4 to our pen pals, to Jack, so we know what a letter is and what it looks like. But before you start, let's have a quick recap of the key features of a letter. Now, our letter is going to be an informal letter as we are writing to somebody we know. You would usually start an informal letter with an address in the top, but today you don't need to include one of those, as you can just send your letters to the Year 4 email address and we will forward them on to your Year 5 teachers. So, the first thing you need to start with is the date. Then you need to begin with an appropriate greeting. As this is an informal letter, it can be something like hello or hi, something chatty to your new teacher. Then you need to have an introduction, then the main part of your letter with a conclusion at the end. You need to finish it off with a complimentary close, something like best wishes, see you soon, have a nice summer, something informal again. And then you need to finish it off with the sender's name. Okay, so now we know the features of an informal letter, we need to have a little think about what we could write about in the main body of our letter. You could tell your new teacher your name and a little bit about your family. You could also tell your new teacher if you have any pets at home or any other animals you enjoy going to see. You could maybe tell them about your hobbies. Now, what are hobbies? Hobbies are things that you enjoy doing outside of school. Could be sport, creative things, places you like to visit, things like that. Just anything that you think your new teacher would like to know about you. You might also want to tell your new teacher the type of topics you enjoy. Maybe you like history topics, maybe you like geography or more creative topics. You could also tell your new teacher about your favourite subjects, maybe something you've enjoyed this year in your favourite subject, maybe something you're looking forward to develop in your favourite subject next year. So these are just some things you could write about in your letter. You could also put in anything else you think your new teacher would like to find out about you.
Thanks, Miss Murphy. I think I'm going to have a go. Now, I can't write to my new teacher, but I can write to my new year band. So I'm going to use the key features and helpful hints for me to have a go. I'm going to start with the date. So I'm going to put 13th day of the 7th month in 2020. And the next bit is an appropriate greeting. As it's informal, I'm going to say hi. I'm going to say, hi, Year 3. And put my comma there for my appropriate greeting. And then I've got to introduce my letter. Now, I'm going to change my colours, you know I like doing that. So I'm going to start with fronted adverbial because we use that in Year 4 all of the time. So we need to keep practising those skills. So I'm going to say, after the summer holidays, I need my comma after that. So after the summer holidays, I'm going to be looking forward to meeting them all and getting to know them all. So I'm going to say, after the summer holidays, I am looking. Now, forward is one of the Year 3-4 word lists, so I need to make sure I spell that out correctly. So, forward, I'm looking forward to, and I want to invite them, so I'm going to say welcoming. I'm looking forward to welcoming you back to school. Let's have a look. So, after the summer holidays, I am looking forward to welcoming you back to school. Okay, happy with that introduction there. So I've got my date and I've got my appropriate greeting. I've got my introduction. Now, Miss Murphy said that I needed to put in here some details in my main body of my letter. So I'm going to be using some of these things now to be able to write about. So I'm going to change the colour and I kind of need to tell them about myself. So I need to say my name. So I'm going to say, my name is Mrs. Smith is a proper noun. So I need to make sure I've got capital letter for Mrs., capital letter for Smith. And one of the things that people always find really interesting is that my dad works at the school, and then all year I have really, so I'm going to get that one in now so they all know. So my name is Mrs. Smith, and I'm going to say I am very lucky to have my dad working with me. Then everybody's saying, who is her dad? So I need to say that. So I need to say, he is Mike, and I need to make sure that I've got a capital letter because that is also a proper noun, Mike, and he is the caretaker. So Mike, the caretaker. Okay. And then I also need to put a little bit about my family at home. So I can say at home, I'm going to link my fronted adverbial to home and my family at home, and a little bit about what I like doing rather than just saying who's at home. So I'm going to say at home, I enjoy playing board games with my husband and my 2 daughters, and then I'm going to name them Alice and Grace. Okay, so I've got everything so far, and I've got a little bit about me. Let me just double check and read it. My name is Mrs. Smith, and I'm very lucky to have my dad working with me. He is Mike, the caretaker. At home, I enjoy playing board games with my husband and my 2 daughters, Alice and Grace. Okay, I'm happy with that. Right, now I have written my name and a bit about my family. I'm going to go on to my hobbies. So, I like doing lots of things in the holidays with my family. So I'm going to start with my fronted adverbial. I'm going to say during the holidays. And I need my comma after my fronted adverbial. So during the holidays, I actually really like travelling, visiting new places and kind of finding about the history of the kind of famous buildings. So I think I'm going to put something about that. So during the holidays, I love visiting new places, and I like kind of exploring those. And so visiting new places and learning, and that's one of our year 3-4 word list words. So I need to make sure I've got that spelled correctly. Learning. And learning about the history, another one of our year 3-4 word list. And I know you've been doing those with Mrs. Price with her spelling video, and learning about the history of the famous, guess what, another year 3-4 word list, and buildings. Another year 3-4 word list. Okay. During the holidays, I love visiting new places and learning about the history of the famous buildings. Okay. For my next paragraph, I'm going to be looking at my favourite subject, and I think I'm going to put it together with my favourite topic as well. So I've talked about at home for my fronted adverbial. I've talked about during the holidays for my fronted adverbial. So now I'm going to say at school. At school, my favourite, this is another one of our year 3-4 word lists, so this is going to be helping you with your spelling video with Mrs. Price. My favourite subject is maths. Hopefully you like it too. And the reason why is because I love solving mathematical problems. So I've said about my favourite subject, and now I kind of need to say about the favourite topic that I've done this year. So I'm going to pick the Romans. So I'm just going to start with that. I'm just going to say Romans. So that topic of Romans is my, I've said favourite, is, no, I'm not going to say mine because I've said favourite already and I don't want to repeat. Romans is, I'm going to say the topic that I enjoy the most haven't started with the fronted adverbial this time. I need to kind of come up with a different sentence type. So I think I'm going to be looking at a subordinate conjunction. I'm going to give my reasons. So I'm going to say Romans is the topic that I enjoy the most because, and then I've got to think of the reasons why I like it. And it's kind of linked to that fact that I like visiting new places and finding out new facts. So because I like finding out, I like finding out kind of like interesting facts, ones that make you go, oh, okay, finding out interesting, and interesting is one of our year 3-4 words. So finding out interesting facts about the past. Okay, let me read it to check. At school, my favourite subject is maths. I love solving mathematical problems. Romans is the topic that I enjoy the most because I like finding out interesting facts about the past. Okay, happy with that? Okay, I think I've written everything I want to put into this letter. I know you could write about your pets, and I'm sure there's lots of things I could write about too, but I'm going to move on to the conclusion. So I'm now going to bring it right back to the introduction and say that I'm looking forward to getting to know them all. So I'm going to say, in the new term, that's my fronted adverbial, so I need to make sure I've got my comma. In the new term, I am looking forward to getting to know you all. And that ties in the introduction and the conclusion nicely to finish the letter off. And then I need to put a complementary close, kind of a suitable ending to the letter. So I think the suitable ending would, I'm going to see them soon. So I'm going to say, see you soon. And then it says I need to put the sender's name. So I'm going to put Mrs. Smith. Okay, and that's my letter finished.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. What a great letter that was. Thank you for writing that with us. Let's do a quick check to make sure that Mrs. Smith has included all of the key features in her informal letter. Okay, so our first one was the date. Yep, there we go. She's got the day that she's written her letter. An appropriate greeting to open up to start her letter. Hi, Year 3. I like that. A nice informal greeting. Well done, Mrs. Smith. An introduction to begin her letter. After the summer holidays, I am looking forward to welcoming you back to school. Nice, I like that, Miss Smith. Then she's written the main body of her letter and included some of these things in. I really like Mrs. Smith's hobby of going to see the lovely famous buildings. That sounds nice. And then a conclusion at the end. In the new term, I am looking forward to getting to know you all. Fantastic. Has she got a complimentary close at the end? See you soon. That's a nice informal one. And the sender's name at the end, Mrs. Smith. Fantastic. So we've checked our letter and made sure that Mrs. Smith has included all the key features in. Great job.
Now it's your turn. Over to you. In your letter to your new teacher, you need to make sure you have included all of the key features. You've written about yourself from these or some others that you may have thought about, and try and wow your next teacher by including a range of sentence types. Good luck. When you've finish, don't forget to send it to our Year 4 email address and then we'll forward them on to your next teacher. Have a lovely summer, Year 4. Bye.
Bye everyone.